Good evening from Tianjin, China, where the skyline of this bustling port city is serving as the backdrop for a summit that could reshape global alliances. Tonight, one meeting in particular stands out between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iran's newly elected President Masoud Pezeshkian. Their handshake, their words, and their presence here at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit carry weight far beyond this room. It looks routine, but it symbolizes something larger: two nations under Western sanctions, drawing closer in both strategy and spirit. This was Pezeshkian's first major appearance on the global stage since taking office, and choosing to stand with Putin at the SCO sends a deliberate message. Iran and Russia are deepening ties, and they want the world to notice. Rows of officials from Moscow and Tehran sit shoulder to shoulder, signaling not just a bilateral dialogue, but an emerging bloc. For Russia, isolated by sanctions over Ukraine, Iran is a partner in defiance. For Iran, encircled by decades of Western pressure, Russia offers military technology, trade routes, and diplomatic cover. His tone is calm, but his message is clear. Russia's pivot to Asia and the global south is accelerating. Every word here reinforces the idea that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, once dismissed as a regional club, is becoming an alternative to NATO and the Western-led order. Putin has long argued that global power should be multipolar, and in Pezeshkian, he sees a partner willing to echo that vision. His remarks, though cautious, align with Iran's long-standing strategy: break free of isolation, strengthen partnerships with Eastern powers, and redefine its role in global governance. Unlike his predecessors, Pezeshkian presents himself as both pragmatic and assertive, an Iranian leader who knows the stakes of engaging at the SCO table, and who frames Iran as indispensable in shaping the region's future. The symbolism matters. Russia, the larger power, gives space for Iran to articulate its ambitions. This moment is more than diplomatic courtesy. It reflects how both nations are aligning narratives against Western dominance. By appearing as equals, they project unity, even if behind closed doors the balance of power tilts toward Moscow. It is not just Putin and Pezeshkian. It is two entire states aligning their bureaucracies, militaries, and economies toward deeper cooperation. And in Tianjin, before an audience of fellow SCO members, the visual is unmistakable. Russia and Iran are locking arms on the global stage. Why does this matter? Because the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, founded in 2001, now represents nearly half the world's population and a combined GDP exceeding $23 trillion. Its members, China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Iran, and several Central Asian states, see themselves as more than a talking shop. They present the SCO as a non-Western style of collaboration, a contrast to NATO or the European Union. Here, sovereignty and cultural traditions are emphasized over Western notions of liberal democracy. That distinction is precisely why leaders like Putin and Pezeshkian embrace it. For Moscow, the SCO is a sanctuary from isolation, a platform where Putin is welcomed rather than sanctioned. For Tehran, it is an escape hatch from economic suffocation, offering access to trade corridors, new financial systems, and strategic partners like China and Russia. And for both nations, it is a chance to tell the world we are not alone. This meeting also arrives at a pivotal time. Russia is entrenched in the war in Ukraine, battling Western sanctions and military aid flowing to Kyiv. Iran, meanwhile, is under pressure over its nuclear program, its support for regional militias, and its own domestic unrest. Both nations face heavy criticism, but instead of retreating, they are leaning into partnerships that can shield them from the West's punitive measures. Peeling back the diplomacy, the stakes become clearer. Military cooperation between Russia and Iran has grown dramatically. Drones supplied by Tehran have been deployed in Ukraine, while Moscow has discussed transferring advanced fighter jets and defense systems to Iran. Energy, too, is central. Russia and Iran, two of the world's largest hydrocarbon producers, are exploring joint projects that could undercut Western influence over global energy markets. At the SCO summit, these moves are framed not as defiance, but as legitimate alternatives. Leaders here argue that the West has monopolized power for too long, dictating terms through sanctions, financial institutions, and military alliances. In their view, the rise of the SCO is proof that the world is entering a new era of multipolarity. For Pezeshkian, this meeting is also deeply personal. As Iran's new president, he is under immense pressure to deliver economic relief at home while maintaining the Islamic Republic's ideological resistance to the West. Aligning with Russia provides him both symbolic legitimacy abroad and potential investments that can soothe domestic frustrations. For Putin, the meeting serves another purpose, to show his people and the world that Russia is not isolated. Even in the face of Western sanctions, Russia can host summits, shake hands and cut deals with powerful partners. And then there is the Chinese backdrop. Holding this meeting in Tianjin is no accident. China, the host of the SCO, has positioned itself as the silent guarantor of this multipolar order. By giving Putin and Pezeshkian a stage, Beijing amplifies its own narrative that the East is rising, the West is in decline, and that global power is shifting irreversibly toward Eurasia. It is not just two leaders greeting one another. It is a statement that Russia and Iran, though battered by sanctions and criticized by the West, are charting their own path. A statement that the SCO is not a sideshow, but a stage where the rules of tomorrow's world may be written. And a statement that in Tianjin tonight, the balance of power continues to shift one handshake at a time.
По итогам 2024 года он вырос на 13%. Прошу передать привет и наилучшие пожелания верховному руководителю Ирана, господину Хаминеи.
منم خیلی خوشحالم مجددا شما رو اینجا زیارت میکنم و از اینکه
направление. Вы знаете, что также этот документ прошел ратификацию в иранском парламенте совсем недавно. Это тоже еще другой толчок на развитие наших отношений, что мы